Hi, welcome to UCR FBLA's podcast. I'm Azure, and I'm the Director of Outreach, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm the Vice President of Outreach. And today we have our first guest ever on this podcast. And here she is.
Hi, my name is Lynette Lee. I am the VP of Administration for FBLA. I am a third year business administration major concentrating in accounting, and my main role in FBLA is to handle the finances of the clubs. Yeah.
That's super cool. What do you like to do for fun?
Because of quarantine, I picked up baking, which is like something everyone probably picked up, but yeah, I picked up baking.
What's your favorite thing to bake?
Macarons. They're so they're so expensive, but like yeah.
Great. We're excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We're all a part of a student org on campus called the FBLA that helps members develop personally and professionally. And we have created this podcast recently to give further insight on being a UCR student and professional. And Kevin, you can take it away with the topic for today.
Yeah, so today's topic is the college triangle myth, and is it true or not? So for those of you that don't know what it is, if you've seen it probably around the internet, it's like this triangle. At each corner it has social life, sleep, and grades, and you can only pick two, right? So today we're here as college students to try to debunk or confirm this myth, if it's true, and if it holds up to its standard. So the question for you guys both is the myth true, right? Does this triangle exist, and can you only choose two things?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I go first. So I honestly feel like, just from my experience and from observing other people, I feel like I've only really seen the myth to be true. It just seems like you can really only have two, and you can't really balance all three. Like I remember in like my first year, I like kind of gave up grades for social life and sleep, which is like, whoever's listening, don't do that. Focus on your grades for sure. But that is something what I did. But I know, like, of course, the myth is also very situational for each person, because my roommate, she did the quite opposite. She gave up social life from grades and sleep. So I in my opinion, I feel that is true. So is there?
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think this is true. My roommate gave up sleep. She definitely never slept. She would wake up at like 3 a.m., sometimes 4, and then sleep at, I don't even know when she slept. I never saw her sleep. So, but she did that to maintain her grades and her social life. So I guess that's true for her. And then for me personally, my first year, I gave up a lot of my social life for sleep and grades. Which I don't necessarily regret, but I do wish I was able to, I guess, maintain a more balanced life. But it is called the triangle for a reason, so it's kind of hard to maintain all three of those things at the same time. But what about you, Kevin?
Yeah, so differently from both of you, I actually felt that to an extent, I was able to achieve all three. I think the way to explain it though it wasn't like I was like the most social butterfly. I was getting like 4.0 GPs and I was sleeping like 10 hours a day kind of thing. I think it kind of like strike that balance between more of the grades and the social life, and then sleep. I would still get sleep, but it wouldn't be like, necessarily 8 to 9 hours a day, maybe 6 to 7, and on occasion 5 hours. It was just because also like I didn't take naps, so that really helped with like sustaining myself throughout the day. Even though I was tired, I was still able to like save that time to do other stuff and then just sleep when I got back. I think, especially as a first year, it's really doable to balance all these things, right? Before you kind of come into more responsibilities, either with extracurriculars, officer positions, board member positions. What else is there? Oh, like upper divisions, and in some cases, people take, instead of 3 or 4 courses, take up to 5 courses, which does put a lot of strain on the rest of that circle, or sorry, triangle. But yeah, so just for me, sorry to conclude, I think it's possible to commit all three, but kind of my other question I have is it just a triangle, right? So this triangle consists of social life, sleep, and grades. But I think in reality, I don't know if hopefully Lynette and Azure agree, it's not just those three things. There's a lot more that come into it. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Something that's talked about a lot is health, whether that's physical, mental, just overall health. It's hard to maintain, a social life, sleep, health, and grades. And sleep does kind of go hand in hand with health, but not, always. So I definitely think that's one of the other aspects that could be potentially added to this, myth. But what do you think, Lynette?
I think another thing we can add is family. I think family is really important to balance with as well. And I know like very family-oriented people who give up their family life. Give up their social life for their family. And so I think I agree. Like it's definitely not just. I don't think it's just a triangle. Like there's so many different factors that people prioritize over something else.
Yeah, that's definitely a really important factor because also like in college, you're not really close to your family usually, right? You're like kind of like away, maybe an hour away from your family, maybe 6 hours, maybe even across the country. So oftentimes it's really hard. And I know I had a couple of friends, kind of like similar to what we talked about Lynette, but they kind of like sacrifice their social life actually to kind of go home on the weekends, just to see their
Yeah, I definitely
family,
get
make sure
that.
they're all okay. But yeah, so that's a really important thing. I would say something I think that they don't account for is like kind of like everything outside of school, more of like maybe like even a job, extracurriculars, that professional scene, and especially like kind of also along with health, like exercise. I think that's really important. I know everyone has heard of like freshman 15, freshman 20. So like honestly, like I didn't even believe it until I first got to college and I was like, I was like, I never had access to a buffet for every meal, so I was like, so when I first came to college, I was like, yo, like I'm eating all this good food. Like, oh, they have ice cream. I get ice cream every day. There's like basically everything's unlimited to an extent, right? So myself included, with some of my friends, even we gained a couple of pounds. Luckily, I was able to join some extracurriculars that actually helped me see. So also, fun tip. Join clubs that knock out both things, right? So I joined this club and I was able to knock out exercise and social life at the same time. So that was really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it okay if I kind of talk about a little bit of a different, I guess, so like if you were to choose, three of the most important things, what would you choose? So now that we've discussed kind of the other branches of things, what would you choose to have as your three, if you were to create your own myth, I guess?
3. Okay.
Mm.
I think it's 3. Can we add it to like maybe like a pentagon? Should we make it like a pentagon?
Just do like a little star, maybe.
Maybe a
Let's do 6.
star.
Oh no, that's 5.
Okay, I guess I say a pentagon. I say a pentagon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'd say like social life is one, academics, sleep, and then I definitely would put exercise there because
Mhm.
it does take up a lot of time. If it can take up a lot of time, right? And it's really, but I think it's really important. Um, what else did we talk about? What are some other factors? Oh, extracurriculars. I know that kind of falls under social life, but it's like different, right? Because like depends on what extracurriculars you're looking for, right? There's some like FBLA, right? We're more of a professional um, assistance, professional growth kind of club. So that kind of falls away from social life a little bit and more into professionalism at this point. So I say extracurricular is definitely another aspect.
Mhm.
Okay, can I add like 6 then maybe? And then I would say like free time. Like free time is really important.
Yeah, free time.
Yeah, just to enjoy yourself. I could not have gone through college without watching Netflix, or YouTube, or or TikTok, I guess, from last year. This is just kind of recent. Yeah, what about you guys?
I won't go as much as 6, but I guess like my top 4 would probably be like family, social life, sleep, and extracurriculars. I feel like academics and health should be on that top 4, but that's I said what I said. Those are like my top 4. And honestly, like yeah, like I probably should put like health as like one of the biggest things, and that's something that I am working on. That's kind of like it's like that's my top 4 is like my square. So, but if it was to be a pentagon, I put like exercise, and that's the thing I give up, which is so bad. But I should definitely take like Kevin's advice and do something that knocks off like both exercise and like social life or something. But that's like what I would value.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would totally like cheat it a little bit, and I would put, I would say health and like maybe experience / grades, everything academic, and then social life. So that way I can mix, social life, I can put like family and friends in there. And then for health, I can put sleep, food, taking breaks, mental health, everything in that. So I guess in a way, I would kind of keep these things, but I would make it more all encompassing. But yeah, I guess you're right about definitely like what's it called, physical health and like exercising. I definitely give that up too often. But yeah, that is super important.
Yeah, definitely. I know we talked about kind of like all these things. So I guess in your experiences, how have you all managed to kind of balance all the things that are important to you? And what are some things that you kind of wish that you incorporated or tried to balance, but kind of decided it's not important to you and just kind of like put it to the side for now? Yeah. So
things like I've put onto the side.
yeah, so basically what have you prioritized and what things have you decided it's not important for you right now, right? So like, well,
right now.
My first year, so I did watch Netflix, right? But I kind of decided I was getting more serious about my grades and exercise. I think I would only watch like YouTube and Netflix like when I was eating, like so like I kind of like cut it down the time. So kind of like stuff like that. Like what did you kind of decide you had to sacrifice in order to like kind of be a successful person or college student?
Okay.
I
definitely.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. I definitely sacrificed a little bit of my social life and sleep. I would stay up, I guess, later than I would like some nights. I definitely tried, but some nights I had to stay up till 3 or 4 to, study because I'm in college for my academics, like I put school at the very top because it's like I'm paying so much money, I might as well do well. But yeah, definitely I had to say no to some social events and, get-togethers that I really wanted to go to, but I had to put other things in front, and kind of sad at the time, but I don't necessarily regret it because I was able to, keep what I thought was most important at the top. Or not most important, that sounds bad. Like what I had to prioritize, because I was in college, I had to prioritize that. So I was able to keep what I had to prioritize on top, if that makes sense. But yeah. What about you, Lynette?
Yeah, like I feel like as you like kind of like go through your college experience, you just sort of learn like what you need to prioritize and what you think is most important. As mentioned earlier, like my first year, my top two priorities was social life and sleep, more or less than grades. And then so that's when I realized when I thought back at my first year, I was like, I really need to get my stuff together. So like by the time I entered my second year, I kind of shifted it to grades and sleep, more or less social life. But then I was like, no, that's not that's not it either. So like, I kind of had to like I guess I did kind of what Kevin did, like try to balance all three by joining an extracurricular.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hit two birds with one stone by social life.
Like academic or
Academics, because I feel like friends kind of help with like academics and stuff and boost each other up. I feel like FBLA, my very first organization that I ever joined, are filled with really ambitious people. So I'm really grateful for, I'm really grateful for the people in FBLA to really like help me balance all three aspects in a way. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess a little food for thought for the listeners of the podcast is really think about what aspects are important to you and try to prioritize them. And also realize that priorities can change, so adjust your triangle accordingly. But just really think about that.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everyone that was listening. Thank you for making it this far. That's the end of our podcast for today. A big thank you to Lynette for being our first guest ever on this podcast of FBLA. And I had off to kind of give all those other stuff.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on all social media at UCR FBLA, and we will be releasing our podcast every other Thursday, so please look out for them.